Welcome, my name is Mark Monlux, and you are watching Epic Sketch Time. This is an online an online drawing group that got started about 5 or 6 years ago, and we meet every Tuesday at 4:30. Feel free to check us out on Facebook and also our past sessions on Facebook. If you become a member or attend more than 3 times in a row, we will include a link of of your name and a link. Oh my God, I am really fumbling today. Your name and
Just
a link to your whatever website down here in the doobly-doo. Okay. Since Bill's busy with the task, Ian, can you introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, my name is Ian Castruita. I am an illustrator, graphic designer, and cartoonist working out of Arizona. You can find all my stuff at unfedartist.com, and all my social media, Patreon is /unfedart. So check it out, let me know. Bill, are you still busy or should I?
Sent it to her. Yes, I'm Bill Morse. I'm a freelance illustrator and cartoonist working out of Seattle, Washington. And I also do a webcomic called Rhapsodies, which will be on the doodly-doo, as well as lots of other side projects, which you can find on my Patreon page. And we also have Vicio Fredley, who's an illustrator and animator from Santiago, Chile. And if I remember correctly, Vicio, your contact information was Shiny Head something or other. I saw your it on your Instagram, I think. Heads that shine, which is that on a Facebook page or is it just your Patreon?
Speaking of Patreon, everyone attending here has a Patreon page. I encourage you to check them out. Mine is Mark Monlux. Bill, what's the name of your Patreon is?
At the moment it's Rhapsodies, though considering all the other stuff I have in it, I'm considering changing it.
And I know that Vicio's is also Heads That Shine. Ian, what's the name of your...
Patreon.com/unfedart is how you find me. Let me make sure. Yep, Unfed Art. So UNFEDART. If you join up right now, you'll get strips a few days before everybody else can see them. And eventually, I'm hoping to implement an archive tier, so you won't be able to read my comic archive unless you're one of the lower tier Patreons. So we'll see how that goes. I haven't done something like that before, but yeah, anything that helps support my my comics.
That's
Vicio
cool.
says that his Patreon is Vicio Friedli. That's VECHOFRIEDLI. Maybe Friedli? Let me, Vicio, is it Friedli or Friedli? The former or the latter? I'm pretty sure I'm getting Vicio down. One of these days, Vicio will, when the pandemic has passed, I'm sure Vicio will go out and score himself a microphone so we can eventually hear his sweet, effervescent voice. He says it's pronounced free, as in Free Willy. Nice. So, what is everybody working on today?
Well, what I just started, I think I may have mentioned in passing before that this mermaid picture I did last year would make for a good portfolio piece. So I just finally started working on it. And just a second. This is where I am on it right now.
Now, what I would suggest is all that detail that you have in the tabletop,
Mhm.
that you use colored lines for that instead of black lines later on, because they're really distracting.
Okay.
But I see no reason, as long as they're not touching the tail or anything, that should be fairly easy for you to do.
Right.
But
At the moment, the biggest thing I was wondering about whether I should stick with the lines for, I'm planning to do the kelp in the background as painting to give it a soft focus, but haven't decided whether the rocks, the landscape behind the octopus should be ink lines or painted.
what I would do is do those ink lines on a separate layer,
Yes.
and then that way you can go in and change those ink lines in the control setting for that layer, and see if it looks good in black or in other colors.
Okay.
Or you might even just one of the things I've done in the past is change the opacity of the line as well as the hue, and then have the sea in the background fill the entire background layer. But what it does then is the line merges with the color of the background of the water when you change the opacity, and it kind of knocks it way back,
Right.
if that makes any sense.
I think so.
What do you think, Ian? Any suggestions for Bill at this stage? And maybe we lost Ian. Stop sharing your page for a moment, Bill.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I have my brother at the house, and just wanted to mute my mic in case he barged in accidentally. Yeah, Bill, could I see the original again?
Yeah. Oh, the original watercolor?
Yeah, the inspiration for this.
Okay, sorry.
You don't have a scan of it or anything?
Oh, yes, actually I do.
Oh, okay.
It does make it easier, so.
While he's working on that, or while he's pulling that up, what do you got today, Mark?
Oh, let me show you. I will holding this up to the screen. This is an image I was working on earlier for in another drawing session. This is going to be for the Mermaid Ablaze. And
Oh, okay. Is that your iPad?
yeah, this is my iPad.
Mhm.
So this is inside Procreate. And what I can do is I can run a short little video to show you how this was drawn.
Okay.
Time lapse replay, and here we go.
Oh, Bill just.
Oh, Bill took
shared his
over.
screen.
Never mind. Nice
Good timing,
Bill.
Bill.
Okay, go
Go ahead
ahead.
and share your screen, Bill.
Okay, so anyway, here's the painting, and so that,
You know, there's a lot of character in your original piece that I don't think is translating to the digital work.
I think part of it is in your digital work, the outlines on the eyes are solid black, and it's weakening the width of the eye going into the face. It's limiting in it.
okay,
So you may want to make that like a colored line that's very faint as well. Give it more of an anime treatment because you've got these large pupils. Also, I think in your when you go into the coloring,
yes,
you'll be able to have more draw the fine hair, the fine lines that's inside the body of the hair with color rather than with black. I think if you did that, you have a lot more hair going off the top of her head, so she's looking more like one of the trolls from the movies.
Here, okay.
And in the inspiration, her hair is short and then more down and around her shoulders, and because it's off of her shoulders, it's just giving her a really different look.
Okay.
She's also got she's got a wide grin initially, and in the second grin, the lip pulls down way down in the middle, and that type of look is done usually to make a person look foolish.
Okay.
And I don't know if you're trying to get that across with her or not. I'm
Yeah,
also
you said this was a portfolio piece. What are you hoping for from putting this in your portfolio? Like,
fantasy / children's book illustration.
So, are you thinking like covers or like
Covers could work.
I see the watercolor being more suitable as a cover for a book than the inked, and you know, it's fairness to your ink drawing. It's not finished yet, right? And you know, your coloring is probably going to, you know, adjust the emphasis of the inks and everything, but yeah, to add to kind of Mark's point, like the character of the mermaid is giving off a different vibe from your original as opposed to the current work that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And even the octopus, although he's not drawn in, I could kind of see a little bit more of a different kind of emotion and kind of character there in your new work as opposed to the original piece. So I mean, with this type of stuff, it's all storytelling and everything. I would kind of, you know, actually, you could take this for a grain of salt, but actually write down the story of what's happening here, and as opposed to just trying to like make a scene. Did you write the story down, or is this just kind of like, you know, you kind of drawing it out and not really thinking about it except as you're drawing it?
It was kind of sort of inspired by the Beatles' Octopus's Garden, but
okay. Well, my thought is like, you know, write down a script, like you know, give this character a name, you know, give it a quick backstory, like make a short story about this, and then you're actually illustrating something as opposed to just, you know, being inspired by something, and I think that will come across more clearly in your storytelling of the artwork, because if I look at the original piece, I see a lot of like just a calm kind of peaceful setting, like the mermaid's enjoying the drink.
mm-hmm.
But the new piece, it looks a little bit more wild, and like the drink is affecting them or something, you know, and it's not coming across the same way. So I would really kind of stick to a story that you can refer back to and say, you know, is this artwork serving the story that I'm trying to tell? And that can kind of reinforce how you go forward looking at, you know, making this a portfolio piece. Outside of that, I mean, like I said, I don't want to knock on the new artwork since it's only partway done, but you know, it'd be interesting to see where you take it and how the colors look and everything.
Right.
Bicho says that he likes the teapot. It looks beautiful. But he's also working on Mermaid Day 18. He's trying to catch up. Right now he's doing Tina Fey. It was her birthday yesterday. In case you haven't looked at his mermaids on Instagram, not only has he been doing a mermaid every day, but he's been making it of a famous person caricature as well. So that's a nice combination. So I'm going to, here's the animation of how I built this illustration. Let me click this button. Come on. Let's see. And there we go. So I started with the main silhouettes and just kind of selected my colors from a pre-existing palette. And kept deciding to do less than more all the way through it. So Ian, I see that you're working on your comic today. It looks like you're doing multiple faces in a crowd. That is always a big pain in the butt. Are you going to be pixieing those faces? I mean, by that I mean, pixie is a term when a cartoonist will take an image from a prior cell and just cut and paste it into a new one and move it around. Or are you going to custom draw each one of those heads and each one of those scenes?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I like to draw everything out. I think it results in better artwork. But yeah, as far as like getting the job done on time and everything, I might take some shortcuts. With the script that I have written for this, it's actually a lot of interaction and reaction by the characters, and so I don't know if just copying. I might be able to get away with kind of like a half and half, where I just copy their head and then change the look of their face, you know, to give them a different expression or something. But again, because of the complexity of the script and the scene that I'm putting together, I don't know if it's going to work for me to do anything except draw it fresh for each panel. But yeah. I have a tendency to bite off more than I could chew, as you know. So. Is there any chance to see some of Vicchio's artwork?
Oh yeah, let me. What I'll do is I will pull his stuff up on Instagram. I just need to split my screen here for a moment. I was in such a rush that I forgot to split my screen before and by splitting my screen, I mean I've got two displays, and right now they're set to mirror. Okay. And I'll move that down. Expanding that back out. Oh, Vicho asks where can he see your strip?
Unfedartist.com. If I tried to make it so that URL is always on my screen. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. When I talk, it should be in the lower left-hand corner of my video feed. But
yeah, we see it. Unfedartist.com. It's right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't click on it or anything, but.
So how did you get that? Oh, is that a bit of software that you're using on your PC to put that into place, or?
Yeah, it's the same software that lets me do my split screen.
So I'm going to go ahead and take over the screen right now, and I'm going to show Vicho's Facebook page. So here are some of his caricatures. That's
Mhm.
The one of Robert Patterson, so far this one's my favorite.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Fred Astaire. I think he really caught his essence there. That's a pretty good little chihuahua. Oh, I want to go back. I thought there might be a source photograph with that caricature. Like the Audrey Hepburn one. Oh, I missed The Rock. It's a pretty good one. I have a friend of mine who I go watching the movies with, and he will not watch any movie that has The Rock in it. He just has a personal grudge. So I'm going to stop doing a share because that was a pretty good little slideshow.
Yeah, great, great stuff. So how do you guys compare Mermaid to what's the other drawing challenge month?
Inktober.
Inktober, thank you. Yeah.
I prefer Inktober because I like to have horror as a theme, and I also like to draw obscure horror movie monsters during the month of Inktober sometimes. Last year I went strictly with the prompt words. This is the first year that I've done Inktober strictly using a tablet and not using, I decided that inking wasn't necessary for Mermaid. Bill seemed to have such fun with it last year, and drawing mermaids is a real pain in the butt.
I confess that the main reason I got into it was giving me a marathon exercise routine for getting my watercolor chops ready for doing nature art landscapes in Maine.
Now, if you want to see someone who's really spending way too much time on drawing some absolutely fantastic mermaids, James Stowe's mermaids have just been fabulous. I don't know how he's giving himself so much time to put out, but they're absolutely gorgeous mermaids.
But is it on his Instagram?
Yes, it is.
I'll have to look that up.
And I almost wish I hadn't gotten into it, but so far I am on schedule and I'm ahead a couple days. So I just need to draw one more week's worth.
I finished it yesterday.
You finished? You got all caught up? You pre-drawn for the whole month?
Yeah, for a while I was doing 2 a night, not because of sort of a need to do it, but I found it easier to do it that way so that I could work on something else while waiting for a wash on the first one to dry.
Oh, because you're doing them traditional as watercolors, yeah. I picked up, I'm waiting for a payment to drop for a large video project that I'm going to be working on. And that could be cutting into my mermaid time. I've been trying to keep myself to under an hour. And then that way I spend like half an hour posting it up and scheduling it on all my social media ports. And but I've been making them more slowly. They've become more and more elaborate.
Yeah,
my first mermaid was just nothing but an old granny knitting done in the crudest of cartoon styles, and I might have to fall back to that.
I mean, I'm not in any position to criticize, since my one for tomorrow is probably the most elaborate one I've done.
Tilt it a little bit. We're getting glare.
You put that up on Patreon, right, Bill?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I like that one.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised how well it turned out. It was sort of sculpted. It came off as almost sculpting it for in monochrome.
I'm folding a paper crane and adding it to the bucket. Oh.
Is there a specific cause for that one, or for doing that, or is it just having them in stock?
In Japan,
I know the tradition for Japan. In Japan, I was wondering why your specific reason for doing it yourself.
I have a friend who went with me to Japan, and they are undergoing cancer treatment. So I thought I would surprise her with 1,000 cranes.
Okay, that's perfectly legit.
And at the time, when I first discovered that she was, this was over a year ago, because I don't fold these cranes all the time. I just fold them every now and then. It's not like I have a system, or I'm just sitting down blindly folding cranes. But I have folded cranes blindfolded. I've done them so many times. But I'm getting closer. I think I'm down to the last 100.
Very cool.
Last time I counted, I was over 800, or close to 800. So, and I'm glad that when I bought the paper, I wanted to make sure that they were all the same size. So I bought all the origami paper that was available at the art store at the time.
And that probably turned out to be good timing, since after buying toilet paper and yeast these days, the
art supply store isn't really open to origami or open for business. But shortly after I started folding these for my friend, my mother-in-law got cancer. So I thought, okay, I'll fold them for my mother-in-law instead. And then, but she died very quickly. Never really had a chance to even get into a treatment plan because her cancer was so far advanced. So all the cranes that went back to the first friend. And now another one of my friends in Japan, tomorrow he's going in to have his, they're taking out some of his intestines tomorrow because they've shown to be cancerous. So oddly enough, they're only going to keep him in for a day. They can, that type of operation used to lay a person out, or
But treating those things is pretty much the same tech that you have for a colonoscopy, isn't it?
Let's see. I think they go in, depending on where it is. If it's in the lower intestines, they use the easiest port available, you might say. Oh, Vicho says, to change the topic away from what's been obviously kind of grueling, he says there's also Droloween. Yes, there is. I've done Droloween as well. And there might be a lot more. Let's see, last year, my local drawing group called Claw did Clawoween. So,
Is it all just October events?
yeah, these.
There's actually, if you look, there's pretty much a challenge for, there's a handful of web pages that list all of these things, but there's pretty much a drawing challenge every month if you're really into it.
Like, I think there's a cartoon character named MODOK, MODOCK, a big head and like a little atomic suit in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
And there's a thing called MODOK March.
Oh, I hadn't heard of that.
Oh yeah, Stowe used to do that one. And I'm wondering if it was just one day in March or when, but he had a little a blog, and everybody would send him in MODOKs to be featured on his blog. I did it one year. I sent him a MODOK because it was so close to Easter. It was a Easter Bunny version mashup of MODOK that I did in chalk on the sidewalk one day.
For the most part, I sort of make challenge. Every time the masochism hits me, I do make my own challenges. So one year I did fairy tales, another year I did Batman characters. Currently, I've been slogging through Game of Thrones with doing essentially picking pages at random to illustrate, and I'm about 20 to go once I finish the mermaids. Now that I've finished the mermaids.
But I'm thinking with all the effort that you're putting in on these challenges, Bill, you could easily be doing a graphic novel instead. I mean, you're producing and you're producing. It's amazing.
He is working on a graphic novel, I thought.
Bill, are you sidelining your graphic novel to draw mermaids?
I have a legitimate reason for the mermaids. It was watercolor practice. It's not my fault that my trip got canceled because of you know what.
Oh, let's see. Bicho has listed some of the challenges for every month. There's Learnuary, then Cellubrary. Okay, that must be celebrities. March of Robots. Oh, so that's for the March. Junicorn. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Oh, Learnuary. Okay.
But I think last time I was on Epic Sketch Time, I told you guys that I was trying to improve my drawing skills, and I don't know if I mentioned the Kickstarter that I backed and that I was using some of the early materials from. Did I? Or
was that the how to think when you draw?
Oh, that's another Kickstarter, which is amazing. Yeah, I highly endorse that one. No, the one I was thinking of, and the one that I've been basing my training on, is a Kickstarter called Cognitive Drawing. It's by Jason Brubaker, who's a former DreamWorks animation artist. If you've read his graphic novels Remind, you would know about him. But his Kickstarter, it looks like it has less than 2 days to go. So if you're curious, you can check out Cognitive Drawing. And what I'm doing is, as a supporter, he gave you the first 40 pages of the book. And so that's what I've been doing. And it's really interesting stuff. It's a lot of focus on drawing from memory as opposed to reference, which is how I've always drawn. I think I did talk about this last time I was on. I don't consider it like a drawback, but I definitely see the value in being able to draw from memory and draw well from memory. I think you guys might remember when I was talking about that Korean artist who I've recently begun to admire on his Instagram, Kim Jong-ji, who just does amazing artwork all from memory. If there's anything to shout out to for me, check out Cognitive Drawing on Kickstarter. I pledged at a $45 level, but for that you get the hard copy book. I think there's like lower levels where you can just get the PDF if you want. That's what I've been doing as far as my drawing challenges. Trying to, at least. I've been combining it with some anatomy books from a artist called I'm not even going to try his name, Michel Loriciella, but I guess he's a well-known professor in Italy, and so I've been combining the techniques I've learned from cognitive drawing with these anatomy books to try to break down the human figure and get better at it. So
another good one, if you're going truly back to basics, are you familiar with drawing from the left side of your brain?
Oh yeah, that's classic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean they had that in college back in my day. The How to Think When You Draw is currently on Kickstarter with Volume 3. So if you missed out, like I did, on getting Volumes 1 and 2 because they sold out and were only available on Kickstarter, they are reprinting Volumes 1 and 2 if you're a supporter.
Yep.
And so you can get the level where you're getting all 3 books.
And it's a great value. Like I said, I highly endorse that. Lorenzo Etherington, British artist, really good artist. But his books on how to think when you draw are really, really helpful for just specific things like how to think about drawing hands and or the next time you draw a car, what you should think about.
And I decided to get all 3 of the books, so I kind of blown my Kickstarter money for the month.
Oh no! So that's a good choice. Definitely keep cognitive drawing on your what Horizon or whatever your sites. He's his first book that is in the current Kickstarter is How to Draw the Male Figure. And based on the success of this one, he's going to do the female figure next. But yeah, just being able to draw accurately from memory is such a talent and a skill that I've always kind of taken for granted. And there is a definite process, which I'm beginning to understand now about how to do this well. And it's cool because you can realize the results within a days of practice. And just to get that result from this free sample that I've gotten is really encouraging, and it's hopefully I'm on the path to drawing better.
Vicho gives us a link. He says, look for Anatomy for the Artist by Sarah Simblet. You can still get old tutorials for free on the Etherington Brothers blog.
And, that's right. Like all this stuff and How to Think when you draw is free. You could find it on their website. Yeah. The books are just a collection of it, and if money is something that you need to worry about, definitely just check out the Instagram and the social media feeds and the website. Every tutorial that's in the books is on the website. So that's a great way to kind of check it out and see if you do want to be a supporter too. So
yeah, I definitely follow them on Instagram.
They also, as far as getting a better, and they also have a DeviantArt page that has all of those lessons in better resolution. I mean, the best tip I got from them was back when for doing watercolors last year, was the treating tree foliage as if it's a cluster of bubbles and clouds.
Well, gentlemen, we're down to the last couple of minutes. So I'm going to, I want to thank Vicho, Ian, and Bill for joining me for yet another week of Epic Sketch Time. And you can join us each week. I think what I'll do is I'll make the link permanent next time so that people can just go back to the old link and go straight in, because I don't want to screw the pooch like I did this week. And have to send out things at the last minute.
As long as there's no Zoom bombing.
Well, I pretty much know everybody who comes in, and so
you have to approve them before they come in, right?
Right. There's a waiting room aspect, and so that seems to be working for enough security. And if we do get Zoom room, I'll just nix that room and start another one. So it's not like they get in permanently. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody.
Oh.